hello, you multi-purpose maltsters, and thank you to Whiskey Gin for that malt mention. Hey, malt mates, Pat pals, welcome to the Bothy, welcome to Ralphie Review 1051 Extras, in which I'm going to talk about the skills of valuing whiskey and being aware of value traps with whiskey. I'm going to start by just showing you the bottle that I reviewed in Ralphie Review 1051 because it gives my entire review context. This is it, Tamnavulin, non-age stated, minimal strength, first bottling, whatever that means, French Cabernet Sauvignon cask finished single malt, and I bought this in my local supermarket for £24, which in Britain is a really good price for a bottle of single malt. However, I am so glad I didn't pay a penny, and I mean not a penny more for this. What am I going to do with this bottle? Because I don't rate it very highly. This has been bottled and packaged for the passive consumer and occasional buyer who are buying instinctively without any deep diving. They're not even checking their mobiles for reviews. They're just not particularly invested. And frankly, these are the people who are not actually buying whiskey at the moment. They're basically pulling in the purse strings because we're slowly and surely heading up to another global recession. It's not that far away, just a few years to go. And they see the writing on the wall, they're looking at cost of living, and they're saying, see the luxuries, I'm going to have to budget myself. So even when they see a discount, they're looking at the single malt, then they're looking down and they're seeing a house blend, a supermarket owned blend, which is £2 or £3 cheaper. And they're buying that instead because their attitude is shruggy shoulders, whiskey's whiskey. And the irony is that for them, the way they're consuming their whiskey, whether it is in a tall glass with ice, soda, lemonade, Coca-Cola, yes, it happens. I know. I'm such a snob about these things. But hey, I don't care. They're going to say, well, you know, it just tastes like whiskey. Can you taste the barley sugar, the complexity, you tasting the sensation? No, I don't have time for that. I'm in a hurry. I want to get pished. And this is the passive consumer. They'll look at a bottle of whiskey and they'll stare at the bottle of whiskey, and then all the information they feel they need comes off that label, and then it embeds itself in their mind, and then they use the actual smell and taste experience in a state of mild confusion to somehow transfer the picture into the glass and then take it as green. Take it as go. This is, oh yes, you're getting a wee bit of red wine and that's fine. Ticky box, we've got it. Mission accomplished. The risk for the whiskey industry is that these are not invested customers. They are occasional customers, and they will melt like snow on a wall in January. They will melt away very quickly. So they are not dependable customers. They're very cyclical. They're very price motivated. They're looking at supermarket shelves. When they're in the budget, what do people do when they're looking at supermarket shelves? They look down. That's what they do. Cheapest at the bottom, most expensive at the top, because expensive is higher up. You've got to reach up for it because it's elevated, because it has higher status. This is basic supermarket psychology we're talking about. And this is why you've got to watch out for value traps. Because at this time of year, we're looking at our budget and we're going to say, right, I'm going to buy 3 or 4 bottles of whiskey. So we go on to Amazon And we see brands like this discounted, or Oak Select, Laphroaig Oak Select discounted, and you say, that's great, I can get a bottle of Laphroaig for £25. But let me ask you, is that £25 worth it when you taste how basic and disappointing and shorthand delivered that experience actually is? Because all you're getting is the under influence of inferior casks for the whole duration. Tina, I would say that one bottle of, say, Isla Rassi, not the overpriced 3-year-old stuff, I'm talking about the sensible price stuff, or Ardnahoe or Ardnamurchan or Isle of Arran or Lechake, I would say you're getting better value from getting a really good, properly delivered single malt whisky. 46%, unchill filtered, natural colour and authentic, with the real complexity of what you're investing into. You're getting a return on that investment, even though you're paying more for the bottle and you can get others cheaper, which I have to say are probably going to significantly, even seriously under-deliver, because they are value traps. Please be aware of these value traps. More and more of them are cropping up, and it works both ways. You have a whisky which looks cheap, but it's cheap for a reason, because nobody's going to want to buy it unless the price is brought down. So what the producers do is, rather than save too many bottles sitting in the shelf for too long, going absolutely nowhere but gathering dust, they deep discount, or the supermarket on their behalf deep discounts just to clear the shelf, and then they feed back to the producer, well, we only want a third of the order from last year, because to be honest, even the people who are not interested in whisky were so disinterested they didn't want to buy your whisky in discount. The other way, the other flip of the coin, is overvaluing of whisky. And you're seeing a very strong trend here. Now, the sort of people watching this video, you're invested, experienced maltsters, your malt mates, and you've seen the ascending price of descending age statements, have you not? I'm certainly noticing it. It's happening everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So it started with the 30-year-old. Suddenly they went from hundreds of pounds a bottle to thousands of pounds a bottle. And this started the trend. And of course, it started to affect 28 and 27-year-old bottlings. And then you came down to the 25-year-old bottlings, which we used to get for £120, and suddenly it's £280, and then £350, and then £400. Because the producers are saying, we've got an older age statement, we want you to believe we've got less volume of that whisky because it's older and rarer, which is not necessarily the case. Seriously, not necessarily the case. So they have this older whisky, and because people are well off, because there's a boom time and we've got stimulation checks because of pandemic lockdown, and because there's full employment, because people have got jobs, and because younger people can't afford houses anymore, they're staying with the bank of mum and dad because they've got no real choice if they want to have any quality of life, and saying, well, I've got a wee bit of money extra, I'm not going to bars anymore because of the stupid prices they're charging, so let's stay at home with a nice bottle of malt and chat to my pals online while we play Grand Theft Auto 5, while we're waiting for the Grand Theft Auto 6 to surface. This is the new reality. So you have the age statements coming down, but prices going up. Where does this conclude? It concludes with 18-year-old whisky now up at £200 a bottle, or whatever the equivalent is in your currency. And then 17-year-old whiskies, which are special because they've been given this special cask treatment or that special cask treatment. Perhaps because the original casks weren't that great and it needed a little finisher. And out they pop at what, £250 a bottle? £280 a bottle? Are they really worth it? No. No, they're not worth it. I'm just telling you right now. Because sometimes I get to taste these bottlings. And the best way to taste them is taste them blind, without knowing the brand and without knowing the price. And then you can play guessing games. How much did that bottle cost? And you'll find that there's 15-year-old whiskey which has been given special finishes. And it's nothing fancy. It's just got a little bit more of exotic oak flavour. That's all. And frankly, not that well integrated into the whiskey either. Then we come down to what's next. We've got to 15-year-old whiskey now. Over £100 a bottle, say £120 a bottle. It's very rare that I would buy anything at that price at that age statement. But the next target's the 12-year-old. 12-year-old whiskey, regularly £100 a bottle. How far away are... the whiskey industry's in a big dilemma here. Because people are spending less, things are getting tight, and yet they want to carry on the trend which has been partially working for them, getting people acclimatised through grooming marketing. That's what it's called, grooming marketing, to price tolerance. And generally it's been working because I know within my Patreon circle, people are asking me direct messages saying, Ralphie, is this really worth it? Is this price really worth what I'm getting? And my answer's always, only and ever, it's worth what you're prepared to pay for it. Nothing more, nothing less. How deep are your pockets? How much tax do you want to hand over when you spend your money? How much is that whiskey really, really going to deliver to you in terms of memorable quality? And once it's 12-year-old whiskey, we're down to 10-year-old whiskey and then non-age statement. And you see the non-age statement price tolerance working very, very well in certain brands, like, for example, Compass Box independent bottlers, who can mix together older whiskey, young whiskey, and then put the older whiskey price tag on it. And because it's just normalised, we start to think it's normal. But we're coming into interesting times, and I'm sure you're aware that the whiskey industry is not comfortable with me talking about this. But I'm comfortable talking about this because I buy this. I buy what I review with the money that you give to me in advertising and Google and subscription, monthly subscription through Patreon, which is why you get all the extra content and live streams in Patreon, to just give you extra value as a reward. And there needs to be people who not only give you the bad news when it's needed, but also explain it clearly to you that, yes, it doesn't matter whether it's Scotch whisky, Swiss watches, fancy chocolates. We are being groomed in the luxury market to perceive whatever they want to deliver as just being luxury because it's got the label. And it's time that we seriously backpedaled away from that and focused on acknowledging and providing our business towards those distilleries, whether they're small or little, that actually deliver authentic, real whiskey experiences to us at an affordable and realistically priced level. How can they do that? Simple. Do away with the marketing team. With social media, traditional advertising is not necessary anymore. There really is no point in whiskey makers producing glitzy video advertising when so few people even want to see it. And if they do see it, it's a great, big, boring yawn. The problem is, modern whisky, conventional commercial advertising is simply not as intelligent as it used to be. And there's no humour in it. But you just feel they're taking the piss. But fortunately, due to the internet, we do have a certain amount of immunity. And that immunity is experience backed up by common sense. Cheers, malt mates. Your good health.